Is it fair to say that you're here in crypto for life-changing wealth? Well, if so, what does life-changing wealth look like for you exactly? I have a calculator we're going to go through that can draw this out. Is it fair to say that if you know exactly where you're going, it's a lot easier to get there? It has been for me. So what does your monthly income need to look like? Say you could earn this passively and it was coming in month after month. What are those numbers of monthly residual income that would change your life for forever? Well, we're going to look at those kind of numbers. We're also going to do a quick update on where the market is today because it's a red day. It's a great day to be talking about what we're talking about because it helps you focus in on where you want to go to. Also, just randomly, if you followed me, I happen to have an NFT dropping today within OneChain, Zookeeper, that I've had some stuff staked for 15 days. So I'm going to open up one of those NFTs so you can see what it looks like. I did get one about 4 weeks ago that was worth $19,000. Probably won't be worth that much, but we'll see. I've gotten about 15 of these. A couple of them I sold for over $1,000. A couple of them I've kept, and one I sold for $19,000 in stablecoin. So it was worth $19,000. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Join me, Rainmakers. Hey, real quick, let's talk about what kind of information you'll get from me. I'm an investor. I've been doing this for 20 years, been in crypto for 4 years. I often think about passive income, how much passive income is needed to cover the bills, because that's why I was in real estate. It was one of the best tools out there for wealth creation because I came from a very modest family and we didn't have a lot of money. I wanted to make some changes in my life so that when I got older, I could have some options. And fair to say, money gives you options. And I was willing to work very hard to improve my life. And so real estate was one of the best ways to go from no wealth to a lot of wealth. And that's why it had my attention, real estate. And I was in real estate and I loved it. But crypto is even better because it has an accelerated cycle from beginning to end of 4 years. It has a massive volatility, which means it can absolutely wreck you. It can also absolutely make you. Now, if you're buying in the bear market and selling in the bull market, you on average do really, really well. My guess is we're midway through the bull market, but we do need to give an update on what this might play out like later this year. So let's go ahead and go over to the charts. Now, if you look at CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, you will see there are huge reversals over the past 7 days. And it sucks when you have a lot of money already in the market and you see this kind of stuff happen. But patience is essential for hitting this long-term game plan. So I did want to go over the game plan overall because it helps you have patience when you see days like this. I mean, massive, massive retracements on things, but that's okay. In fact, we possibly could have even more. Now, one way people play this out, I do not, because it's not worked out well for me when I have. So of the 3 times I've done this, one of the times I came out better and was able to buy a lot ahead, buy a lot more. The other 2 times it took off on me because this could play out like what's called a head and shoulders plan. Now, there were a bunch of people that thought it was going to play out like that, and they went short here. Guess what happened? Boom, and they got liquidated and lost a ton. Now, these patterns don't always play out. So even though this is a head and shoulders pattern, it doesn't always happen that way. And so this could be near the end of the retracement, and it might actually do something like this. Now, this is just the Bitcoin chart. I shared just this one because the altcoins are related to it. Usually when Bitcoin has retracement, alts have bigger retracements. And so we don't know exactly how this will play out. I do have some capital on the sides to pick up some if we should come down to this level. And if we come down to this level, I am not selling anything for in case it does come down more. That's just not how I play it. I play it the patient way. Now, if you followed me for a while, you know that I do look back at 2013, and let's call it Brave New Liquid Coin Index. This shows a great history on Bitcoin going all the way back there, and I want to show you really quickly. I know if you follow my channel, you've seen this a million times, but 2013, we had this early spring pickup. absolutely got wrecked over the summer period. And then what happened starting in October? Massive, massive climbs. Now, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And though 2017 played out somewhat differently, 2021, we've had this big early rise. And then some people are calling for the bear market and, oh my gosh, and this is the beginning of a 3-year bear market. Yeah, maybe I'd give it an 8% chance, but the evidence shows it's much more likely to be playing out like 2013, and I'm okay with that. So I am not playing it like we're at the beginning of a 3-year bear market. I'm continuing to play it out like could even come down more, may not, but then we will see some big gains. And maybe even if we're lucky, it does something like, it's not going to play out like that, but something like that. And then one more massive run up, taking Bitcoin all the way up to 150 to 200,000, maybe even higher. All right. I want to share some stuff with you on this, and then I will go over the Zookeeper and open up that NFT. Okay, this is a residual income calculator that I put together using some simple math to help you visualize exactly what you need in order to change your life financially forever. So the first part of this formula is understanding what your cash burn rate is. So how much cash do you burn through each month through your living expenses, a little bit of fun, and other things. So like everything, what are you spending every month right now to live? And then maybe put a little extra on that. So if you're in, say, the Philippines, it might be $1,000. It just depends. Everybody, this is different. If you're in Switzerland, it might be looking like a number like this, depending on what part of Switzerland you're in. But everybody's number is a little bit different. So this helps you picture life-changing wealth if you know exactly what this number is. Let's say this number is 3,000. And let's say you figured 2,000 extra for fun. That would give you a total monthly needed to live well. Now let's figure that you don't pay off like your mortgage. So within this is your rent or your mortgage payment, plus all your other expenses, plus a little bit of fun. You add this in so that you have a lot of extra spending money. So your total monthly needs are $5,000 in this scenario. How much would you need to earn this cycle and next to create life-changing wealth? Well, the calculations are partially done for you. When I say partially, is the other thing you need to figure out is if you were able to take profits at the top of this, and this will give you a goal of what kind of profits you need to take, and then you invested in the bear market, what X returns would you need to make in order to accomplish this? So if your goal is $5,000 a month passive income coming in, and you're able to invest your gains at, say, an 8% return. Now, all these numbers change. If stable coins, you're able to invest in stable coins or some kind of passive income, and it averages you 10%. The total amount needed, you see, just went down here and here. So it depends on what kind of options are available. This just helps you visualize where you need to go. So the most important number you need to know is this one right here. Total monthly needed to live well, which is a combination of your cash burn monthly and your extra for fun money. You also need to know what your tax rate is. So every country is different. I'm just going to use the U.S. tax rates, at least what I understand about the U.S. tax rates. And so that's 20% if it's long-term capital gains. So that's assuming you're not trading and you're holding for at least a year period. Now, I realize if you're just barely getting into the market this cycle, just barely, then really it's going to be short-term capital gains this cycle, maybe next cycle long-term capital gains. So you will have to make some adjustments if you're trying to use exact numbers. All right, so the goal is $5,000 a month residual. What does that look like that you need to make this cycle? Well, if you figure you can take profits and get $117,000 this cycle, you're going to pay some taxes, and that's going to bring you down to $93,000. But if you're able to then invest that $93,000 at 10x returns, that would bring you to a grand total of $937,000. But then you got to pay the tax man, right? After you pay the tax man, that's going to leave you with $750,000. But $750,000 invested at 8% returns is going to bring you $5,000 per month. Does that make sense? So what do your numbers look like? What if this is different and I'm going to use higher numbers? What if to pay your mortgage or your rent and everything, you need $5,000 a month? And let's say you want to travel a lot. You still probably are going to pay your mortgage on your house while you go travel for 6 months out of the year. So you'll still need this money, but then you'll need some extra money because you're going to be traveling and spending. And so say that total is $10,000 a month. All right, what do your numbers look like? Well, let's assume that if you're buying in the bear market, on average, your portfolio is going to do better than 10x gains, 15x gains. Let's look at what you really have to get to. So your end goal of what you have to get to is 1.875 million, which then you're going to pay your taxes and you're going to end up with $1.5 million. But $1.5 million invested at 8% returns is going to bring you monthly $10,000. Does this help you visualize more where you're trying to get to? See, cycle one, if you can get to 156,250 this cycle, after you pay your gains, that's going to leave, or your taxes, that's going to leave you with 125,000. If you can invest that at 15x returns, it's going to get you here. And after you pay your taxes, you'll be here, and then you can invest that at, say, 8% into a stable coin or whatever there is that will pay you 8% returns. And then you're talking about $10,000 a month. Now, do note, this $10,000 a month, you probably still have to pay taxes on this depending on which tax jurisdiction you're in. Some will, some won't. But you can run the numbers this way. So maybe my admin, I can have them put this in a Google Doc. Go ahead and join our Telegram group if you haven't already, and I'll see if I can get my admin to put this in a Google Doc. It's simple math. That way you can just plug in the numbers for you. So if you click on see more, there's a link to the Telegram group below, and that's our community Telegram group where I'm in there frequently, but also some really smart people in the community. Do note that I will ban you. I will kick you out if you're toxic or you're pumping like scams or whatever. I will boot you. I see one message like that and you're done. This is a place for people to get together and be positive and uplift each other. I have no patience for toxicity. So be careful. Watch your P's and Q's. Be kind to other people, and it's important to me. All right, so let's go over to Zookeeper. Now, I'm a huge fan of WanChain. I feel like it's one of the most underrated altcoin gems out there, and it's my second largest altcoin holding because I believe in it strongly. Now, on WanChain, they have this thing that's a lot like Uniswap called WanSwap. And on WanSwap, you can provide liquidity to some of the different pools out there. And so let's say you want to put in, I just barely opened it up, so it's going to do some calculations. You want to pool together WAN and say WASP. Okay, there we go. Say you want to put in some WAN and you want to put in some WASP, and you could pool those together. Where is WASP? There we go. And then you pool those together and you could pool them. You could then, that would give you some liquidity pool tokens, and you could then stake them over on Zookeeper here, say in this one. Now, I have a bunch staked in this one as well as some of these others like the ETH WAN pool. So there's a different video you can watch, and I'll walk you through how to do this. Another thing that I've done is taken some of my Zoo tokens and I've staked them. And here, if you stake them, 14,000 of them for 15 days, it'll give you one gold chest. And then at the end of that staking period, you get your amount that you staked back. And then if you stake for 30 days, it's even less to do that, but it locks up for 30 days. And at the end, you get a gold chest back. So I'm going to go ahead and claim my gold chest. And one of the things I love about WanChain is their fees are so darn cheap for every transaction. It's amazing. So if this were a 1, that would be 1 cent. It's not even that. So it's not even 1/10 of 1%. It's actually 0.02 of 1 cent. Like, it's so ridiculously low. I love it. So we're going to confirm it, and it's going to drop our NFT here. Dun, dun, dun. I did get one of these that was worth $19,000. I sold it for $19,000. That's how I know it was worth that. It might have been worth more, but that's what I asked for it, and that's what I got. It's 19,000 WAN USDT, and I got one. Darn. 4% boost and a negative 1.78% staking time. So this decreases the total amount you need to stake in order to get a bonus. So this negative actually is a good thing. The bigger it is, the better. So we'll check in my safe, and I have some other ones here. Not the best, could have been better, but I have one in here at 8%, one at 3%, one at 2%, this one at 4%. So that's okay. They are going to be upgrading Zookeeper soon, so at some point you'll be able to combine different ones to then roll for a new one that's better. I don't know exactly how those mechanisms will work. That's about all I know there. So that one, it might be worth $300 or so because there is a market and you can sell these things. So this is just a side note. I mean, really back to this. Join our Telegram group. Also, my information is below on Twitter, but I'm in Telegram more than anything. But do follow me on Twitter as well, and I'll see if one of my admins can put this together in a Google Doc that we can share so that then you can play around with these numbers yourself and have some fun with it. Isn't it fair to say that if you know where you're going, a lot easier to get there? So this will help you know where you're going. So the most important numbers you can put in is fill in this, also fill in this. Then based on whatever your tax rate and whatever country you're in, if you're in, say, Puerto Rico, capital gains are not taxable, so it makes it a lot easier for you, right? So anyway, every jurisdiction is different. So, wow, I hope your tax rate is never 200%. That would make it impossible. All right, thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time. I'm going to leave this over at Manuela, who created this song for all you rainmakers out there. Rainmakers are those in my community that subscribe to the channel and you follow, and you're here for the 5 years, and you make the commitment to be here for the 5 years. And if you make that commitment, I'll make that commitment to you to be here as well. I could just go off and play this whole coming bear market. I've already accomplished life-changing gains. I'm just sharing with you how to get there for yourself. So join me. Let's do it. See you soon.
Success is falling, flowing like rain. The timing's right, we're getting paid. Come on, rainmakers, let's make this happen.